Welcome to Prime Business with me, Samuel Kojo Brace. Now, fuel prices will be reduced at the pumps when the cedi starts stabilizing firmly against the dollar. That's an assurance coming from the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Dr. Patrick Ofori. It follows concerns that consumers will never witness price reduction even when the local currency stabilizes. But speaking on PM Express Business Edition, Dr. Ofori insisted the current spike in prices is mainly due to the cedi's performance. He also ruled out any fuel shortage in the country in the coming weeks.
Needed to have that discussion to ensure that these are extended and then the credit lines exposure is even quoted in USD so that our members can still bring in products worth $10 million. That will also revamp the supply side of it and to able to lock in products to the normal cycles that they bring the products in. So that was something that was also going to affect us. But clearly, once the directive came and most of our members are comfortable with that, I think the banks are also comfortable now to ensure that they can still keep that going. The other aspect that was definitely going to affect the supply line was the issue of the forex availability, because some of the key IOTCs were a bit skeptical, especially when the rating agencies downgraded Ghana. Some of them started to review their outlook on Ghana. Their compliance and risk teams started flagging out and saying, no, you know something, you can't continue exposing us to a country that has been downgraded. So that was also an issue. So we needed to also engage them to assure them that we have what it takes to make those payments. Some were very accommodating to the extent that they would also want to check from your banks if you have that cedi equivalent sitting in your account to be able to fulfill those payments. And gradually, I think that pressure has been able to ease. And then once they also got that assurance from BOG that at least a quantum of dollars has been allocated to the sector, it made them comfortable knowing that irrespective of what, the normal payment cycles, at least there are 2 or 3 million here or there is guaranteed, that through the Bank of Ghana auctioning. And we're hoping that the governor, after the other deliberations, may be stepping up to also ensure that we get more access to forex to be able to meet that. And they were also comfortable, of course, because they know the Cocoa Board syndicated loan was also coming in. So the issue about having access to forex to also meet those commitments was gradually calming down. And now we are in a smooth driving seat to the product supply will be there. But availability is one issue. Affordability is something that we can guarantee.
We should be assured that in terms of shortage, there wouldn't be till end of year to first quarter.
In as much as you are paying the right price.
Now, government says it will continue to work with the business community to eliminate high import of goods while boosting the capacity of local manufacturers in order to increase foreign earnings for the country. According to the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, the government is keen on positioning local industries to help reduce the high taste for foreign goods. Mr. Ofori-Atta has been engaging members of the Association of Ghana Industries as the country battles an economic crisis.
The exigencies of the moment have forced us to turn this crisis, in my mind, into an opportunity to resolve our short-term challenges and the long-term structural problems that have inhibited our economic transformation. That forms a big reason why I'm truly pleased to join you at this event. AGR has always strongly supported initiatives that protect local industry. Indeed, our interests converged when the President outlined his vision of achieving a Ghana beyond aid, since collectively exploiting our productive capacity is vital for creating robust, sustainable, and inclusive prosperity for all. In this respect, let me state categorically that we cannot continue to be a nation of importers.
Now, as government engages stakeholders ahead of the 2023 budget presentation, the Association of Ghana Industries says it has made some proposals to government on the reversal of the benchmark value and implementation of the zero-rated import duties on industrial raw materials. Speaking to Joy Business after the association held a meeting with the finance minister, president of the AGI, Humphrey Eyim Dake, said he was hopeful the economy will recover from the global shock if the proposals are considered.
It's like what we call the international valuation verification. Others call it the benchmark discount value issue. We believe a full reversal as promised earlier on. We reiterated to government and to the minister that we look forward to that promise. Issues on the VAT we've tabled. Issues regarding zero rated import duty on industrial raw materials is relevant to help us rejuvenate the private sector. It is evident by the virtue of the IMF and the report of the minister that the IMF intervention will bring some austerity because of the state of the debt of the country, and moving that debt position to about 55 calls for a lot of austerity, calls for a lot of contraction. Growth will be minimal. From that perspective of government, we believe in private sector. If we could get some rejuvenation with some tax exemptions, some interventions that zero rated on raw materials, and these reversals on the VAT and on the policy rates, we could help government rejuvenate and create jobs in the private sector whilst we navigate the debt sustainability issues and the challenges of inflation and the challenges of the macroeconomic difficulties. We could together do that and help government by virtue of that score to rake in revenues through the EVAT and other e-transactions that we can use to assist government rake in revenue for debt sustainability.
Meeting with the Association of Ghana Industries, the finance minister replied critics who called for his resignation.
I assure you that you have a finance minister who has gone through all the pains and aches, and nobody can really come and say you don't understand what we are doing. The question is, what resources do we have and how are we going to deploy them in the nation that we have? And how do you stand firm in very difficult circumstances, but being very confident that the nation is purposed for greatness, and you are blessed to have the opportunity to lead where we are going. So thanks, Mr. President, for the encouragement, and let me assure you all that your best bet is still Ghana. We can do it, and we should do it. These are very difficult and existential times in global, the global world. And I mean, the whole issue of this poly-crisis, I think, has taken everybody for a turn that we all just need to admit. And how are we going to recalibrate ourselves to be able to build a foundation, not to be subject to the whims of these outside forces.
Now to other stories, and Deputy Minister for Industry and for Trade and Industry, Herbert Krapper, is calling on private entities to collaborate with the government to support small and medium-scale enterprises. According to him, industry actors have the on-field knowledge, which makes them the right partner to help the government achieve its objective of developing SMEs. He spoke at the business explosion organized by the Ghana-India Trade Advisory Chamber.
Speaking at the business organized by the Ghana-India Trade Advisory Chamber, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry, Herbert Krapper, lauded the initiative. According to him, the program is a great platform to deliberate on ideas that will promote small and medium-scale enterprises through financial and technical assistance.
One district, one factory, industrial subcontracting and exchange, business regulatory reforms, strategic anchor industries, industrial parks and special economic zones are all part of government's pursuit of a competitive operating environment for businesses. Government alone cannot do this. Industry captains like you have the answers to the other half of the task. You understand better the issues of SMEs, and you know how to confront these issues much more than government does. We need you. We need you to engage government on platforms such as this, with constructive ideas for SME development. Together with government, we can rewrite the narrative of SMEs in Ghana, and we must each be counted on the right side of history when that story is told.
India High Commissioner to Ghana, Sunjan Rajaram, also reiterated the need to build synergy among businesses of both countries.
I witnessed huge synergies to act in this regard between India and Ghana. And we, from both the sides, especially from the authorities, policy authorities in both the countries, India and Ghana, are committed to facilitate, promote, help the efforts by the businesses to see that these huge synergies that we have between our two countries are exploited for strengthening the economic relations.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive of Ghana-India Trade Advisory Chamber, Dominic Oduro-Enchi, is optimistic that the current economic challenges faced by Ghana and activities of businesses will bounce back.
We have economic challenge. It's beautiful, but don't forget, it's just like pregnancy. You go through 9 months of pain. You know, I'm not a woman, but at least I have an idea. Women go through 9 months, you know, a little bit pain, a little bit, you know, struggle. But you do know the interesting thing, when the child comes out, there's what? Excitement. So that's how it is. We're going through the phase of challenges, but I'm sure that we'll be out of the storm, and then we'll all be excited.
The business explosion was climaxed by the launch of ICA vehicles by Silver Star Auto, a member of the Ghana-India Trade Advisory Chamber.
Now, the Office of the Registrar of Companies has hinted it will put in place various measures to flush out GORO boys. According to the Registrar of Companies, Jemima Owari, the activities of GORO boys has taken a toll on the operations. She was speaking to Joy Business at the 5th American Chamber of Commerce and the Ghana Association of Restructuring and Insolvency Advisors business meeting.
The VIP Oral C service is to create a conducive environment for business owners to have access to their documents within 24 hours. According to the Registrar of Companies, the Oral C service is expected to be ready within the first quarter of 2023.
Well, I think it's far better than it was initially when we started, because we started issuing penalties for companies that do not file their annual returns and financial statements on time. So clearly now we are rather even being inundated by our clients to file their returns. Sometimes it's the system that rather prevents them from filing. So I think it's far better, because I think we've done a bit of sensitization around that. So people actually want to comply now. Clients will pay anything just to get something done within a day. That is why we're going to come up with a VVIP service, where in our own premises we'll have a whole setup there for businesses to get their documents within a day, as long as they pay a little bit more than they are currently paying. And that we should try and implement by the early part of next year, so that we'll cut out people having to go to pay extra monies, you know, for a service that most probably might not even be inaccurate.
President of the American Chamber of Commerce Ghana, Aisha Bedue Ibe, stated that U.S. businesses will further deepen trade with their Ghanaian counterparts.
People, businesses especially, need to have clarity and know how to move forward in this area. It all adds up to the ease of doing business. So American Chamber of Commerce and GARIA have always had a partnership for the last 2 or 3 years, and it helps that we bring our different members together. We represent different parts of the business society, and as we come together, we're stronger. We're able to push policy together, have those discussions that reflect what is going on in our businesses, and also try and influence the change that is possible. All members have been hit by this crisis, because we're all business owners. So all the more reason why we should be in situations like this and meetings like this, where we have policy makers, when we come together as a big group, that we can actually have a bigger voice together and speak to the powers that be to be able to make the change that we want to see.
Citizens are being urged to use the right channel to register their businesses.
Now, the SOYA Value Chain Association of Ghana has begun an advocacy program, the SOYA Beans Roundtable, to to plug loopholes in the soya value chain. This follows a Joy News documentary, The Broken Chain, which highlighted challenges and the role of government in the soya value chain. This caused the government to extend a ban on the export of cereals. The following report explores how stakeholders are coping now.
As we are sitting down, we don't know when we are supplying our next cereal because we don't have some in the room again. Me, I've managed to get 10 bags. That is what I just showed you for now. So I don't know how long it will take me to get even up to the 60 that are supplying.
Our market has been open to foreigners to do anything that they want. They go to the farm gates to buy directly from the farmers. So we are actually short of supply to even run the operations.
You don't starve your own country to feed other countries. You must make sure that your people are satisfied and the excess can be taken away. That's the fundamental principles.
That was The Broken Chain. Government, after this documentary, issued an export restriction on the crop. As a follow-up, the food chain team engaged an aggregator, Swalihu Basiru Mohammed, on the impact of the extended ban meant to stop foreigners from purchasing directly from the farm gates.
In every economy, you need a foreign exchange. It's a very good thing. We have foreigners who are interested in our product. It's a very good thing. It's a positive thing. But you see, when you go to abroad and elsewhere, what they do is that when any commodity that you need, you have to go through brokers. You have to go through series of a chain in order to get it, so that the chain wouldn't be broken. But this is a case that we have foreigners who have infiltrated our market. They are going to the farm gate to compete with local people. And that is very challenging and that is very worrying. We are not saying they shouldn't export, but the right thing has to be done. We have to pass through the right process.
Months later, the Soya Value Chain Association of Ghana began an advocacy program, the Soybeans Roundtable, to plug the loophole in the value chain. The association wants soybeans made a cash crop.
As a union, for us to forge forward, like our facilitator said, if we don't have membership, if we don't forge together, there's nothing that we've said here that will be beneficial. So let's come together, let this association, let this union from today be stronger, such that the whole chain will be recognized.
Janet Chikabatia Adama is a commercial farmer in Tamale. She proffered some solutions.
For the farmers, we are looking at modernized equipment and maintenance system. We are also looking at funding, soft credit lines. When we come to the processes, we are looking at the soya players should come together and push the industry. And then they also have to talk to their funders to raise capital. Government, we should be able to push the government to protect farmers in the event of losses.
Meanwhile, lead for sustainable soybean production in northern Ghana, Professor Jainsia, presented the 2022 crop budget for soya cultivation and how it affects farmers.
For the farmers to break even and make some profit, they must sell it at 500 cedis per 100 kilogram bag this year. So for those who are yet to harvest your soya bean, to be able to break even, your soya must sell at 500 Ghana cedis per 100 kilogram bag.
Since there is no permanent ban but just an export restriction since 7th October 2002, does soybeans have prospects of becoming a cash crop?
Now, according to the National Youth Policy, not much has been done to make agriculture attractive to the youth. It emphasized that the promotion of the participation of youth in modern agriculture is a viable career opportunity which will reduce unemployment and overdependence. In tomorrow's episode of FOODCHAIN, Randy Abam, a 25-year-old degree holder, shares how agriculture has changed her life.
I'm Randy Abam, 25 years of age, and I hold a bachelor's degree in agriculture from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology.
Agriculture is not exactly the course a teenage girl would like to study during their high school days. Although Randy disclosed that she was coerced to do so, she has fallen in love with the sector over time.
The mere thought of feeding humans, the mere thought that we eat every day is what motivated me to go into farming.
Randy is a beneficiary of the greenhouse capacity building organized annually by the Israeli Embassy and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The training landed her the job with Agri-Sustainable Ghana.
With the skills acquired from the greenhouse training, I joined Agri-Sustainable Ghana as a farm hand. With time, I rose to be the farm administrator here at Agri-Sustainable Ghana, and currently I'm the marketing manager for Agri-Sustainable Ghana.
As a greenhouse producer, Randy shares how she cares for tomatoes.
We are in the tomato tunnel. After 21 days in the nursery, the seedlings are transplanted here. The growing medium we use here is the cocoa peat, and we use the drip irrigation technology over here. We use the trellis lines to train it, to give it support to go in a particular direction. Here, because it's not in the open field, we have to induce the fruit set, so we do what we call pollination. We have a hormone that we spray in the flowers to induce the fruit sets. From every node of the plant, there are branches that develop, and we are looking at getting a particular fruit weight, a particular size, and a particular quality for the market. So we take off all those branches to allow the nutrients to be to develop in the main stem, which allows us to get the type of fruits that we want. At 8 weeks, we realized that we observe a first color break, which means that our plant is getting ready for harvest.
Randy is the reigning Miss Agriculture Ghana. Her passion for the sector is exceptional. This could be the narrative about many more youth, provided they are nudged in the right direction of agriculture with all the necessities.
Do well to catch the full episode of Food Chain, which airs tomorrow on the Joy News channel at 6 p.m. Now to other stories. Time now for the stock market review with the head of trading at the Republic Securities, Patrick Edem Agama.
This week, the Ghanaian stock markets recorded activities in 21 equities and 1 exchange-traded fund. Total volumes traded dropped by 96% week on week, leading to a 59% fall in values traded. MTN recorded 68% of volumes traded as New Gold ETF once again dominates values traded by 96%. The GSE Composite Index and Financial Stock Index remain unchanged to close at a year-to-date of negative 11.8% and negative 3.81% respectively. The market recorded a sole loser this week as New Gold ETF lost 17.8 Ghana cedis, representing 7.54% to close at 218.2 Ghana cedis. For next week, we expect increased activities in MTN Ghana as demand for the telco increases marginally. We also expect increased level of interest in Cowbank as investors prepare for the fast behind the figures on Wednesday.
And that's it for Prime Business. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace, but I'll leave you.